Hello, and thank you for joining me today at Emily's Reading Corner. Recently changed. It's constantly changing. It's my reading corner where I read. So that makes more sense to me. I did just change it. And today we will continue on. We will lock back in to Sense and Sensibility, Volume 2 of Sense and Sensibility, Chapter 6. It's not looking good for Willoughby and Marianne. Everybody thinks they're engaged and practically already married and have 10 children, and he hasn't even talked to her. He hasn't even shown up. And Eleanor's like, I don't know anything about it. So Colonel Brandon came over and was like, congratulations, I guess are in order. And Eleanor was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Such an awkward conversation, and Marianne's not saying anything to anybody about anything. And for some reason, Eleanor can't talk to her about it, and she's like writing to her mom and saying like, "Hey, can you talk to Eleanor? I mean, I know you're far, far, far away, but could you actually talk to Marianne about this?" Curious, very curious indeed. So let's continue on because it's riveting at this point. Chapter 6. Nothing occurred during the next 3 or 4 days. Marianne's just been pacing and not sleeping or eating for the last 3 or 4 days. I guarantee it. Nothing occurred during the next 3 or 4 days to make Eleanor regret what she had done in applying to her mother. For Willoughby neither came nor wrote. They were engaged about the end of that time to attend Lady Middleton to a party from which Mrs. Jennings was kept away by the indisposition of her youngest daughter. And for this party Marianne, wholly dispirited, careless of her appearance, and seeming equally indifferent whether she went or stayed, prepared without one look of hope or one expression of pleasure. She sat by the drawing-room fire after tea till the moment of Lady Middleton's arrival, without once stirring from her seat or altering her attitude, lost in her own thoughts and insensible of her sister's presence. And when at last they were told that Lady Middleton waited for them at the door, she started as if she had forgotten that anyone was expected. Mellon Collie and the Infinite Sadness. Check out that Smashing Pumpkins album. Really hitting all the things you should check out. It's part of my YouTube channel. They arrived in due time at the place of destination, and as soon as the string of the carriages before them would allow, alighted, ascended the stairs, heard their names announced from one landing place to another in an audible voice, and entered a room splendidly lit up, quite full of company, and insufferably hot. I cannot even imagine being in all of the things that they had to wear back then. I mean, I don't even know the names of all the things. At least a corset and maybe a petticoat and maybe something over that, and then a dress. I can't even imagine being hot in those. I mean, I would just, I'd probably never marry because I'd be sweating so much. Nobody wants a sweaty bride. I always wonder how I'd fare in this time. Well, I'd be a maid, probably. Hot, hot, hot. When they paid their tribute of politeness by curtsying to the lady of the house, they were permitted to mingle in the crowd and take their share of the heat and inconvenience to which their arrival must necessarily add. After some time spent in saying little and doing less, Lady Middleton sat down to casino, and as Marianne was not in spirits for moving about, she and Eleanor, luckily succeeding to chairs, placed themselves at no great distance from the table. They had not remained in this manner long before Eleanor perceived Willoughby standing within a few yards of them in earnest conversation with a very fashionable looking young woman. She soon caught his eye, and he immediately bowed, but without attempting to speak to her or approach Marianne, though he could not but see her, and then continued his discourse with the same lady. Ooh! Eleanor turned involuntarily to Marianne to see whether it could be unobserved by her. At that moment, she first perceived him, and her whole countenance glowing with sudden delight. She would have moved towards him instantly had not her sister caught hold of her. "Good heavens!" she exclaimed. "Is he there? Is he there? Oh, why does he not look at me? Why can I not speak to him?" Pray, be composed," cried Eleanor, "and do not betray what you feel to everybody present. Perhaps he has not observed you yet." "Till." This, however, was more than she could believe herself, and to be composed at such a moment was not only beyond the reach of Marianne, it was beyond her wish. She sat in an agony of impatience which affected every feature. This reminds me kind of in Harry Potter when Lavender and Ron break up, because Ron was like hurt or injured or something, and he cried for Hermione, and Lavender was there, and she was like, and then she's just sitting at the table with her forks, and she's going, and like looking at Ron. That's what it reminds me of. She's just like waiting for Willoughby to say something to her, and she's like about to explode. Oh my god. At last he turned round again and regarded them both, and she started up and, pronouncing his name in a tone of affection, held out her hand to them. He approached, and addressing himself rather to Eleanor than to Marianne, as if wishing to avoid her eye, and determined not to observe her attitude, inquired in a hurried manner after Mrs. Dashwood, and asked how long they had been in town. Eleanor was robbed of all presence of mind by such an address, and was unable to say a word. But the feelings of her sister were instantly expressed. Her face was crimsoned over, and she exclaimed in a voice of greatest emotion, "Good God, Willoughby, what is the meaning of this? Have you not received my letters? Will you not shake hands with me? Hello?" He could not then avoid it, but a touch seemed painful to him. And he held her hand only for a moment. I can't even look at myself during this. During all this time, he was evidently struggling for composure. Eleanor watched his countenance and saw its expression become more tranquil. After a moment's pause, he spoke with calmness. "I did myself the honor of calling in Berkeley Street last Tuesday, and very much regretted that I was not fortunate enough to find yourselves and Mrs. Jennings at home. My card was not lost, I hope." "But have you not received my notes?" cried Marianne in the wildest anxiety. "Ah! Here is some mistake, I'm sure. Some dreadful mistake. What can be the meaning of it? Tell me, Willoughby. For heaven's sake, tell me, what is the matter?" He made no reply. His complexion changed, and all his embarrassment returned. But as if, on catching the eye of the young lady with whom he had been previously talking, he felt the necessity of instant exertion, he recovered himself again, and after saying, "Yes, I had the pleasure of receiving the information of your arrival in town." "Well, then why did you just ask us when we got into town?" "Which you were so good as to send me," turned hastily away with a slight bow, and joined his friend. Marianne, now looking dreadfully white and unable to stand, sunk into her chair, and Eleanor, expecting every moment to see her faint, tried to screen her from the observation of others while reviving her with lavender water. I forgot about the lavender water. I'm going to make myself a note, because I do want to make lavender water. I feel like there's lavender everywhere. I wonder what kind it was. Oh, lavender water. I gotta make myself a note real quick. Make lavender water. Is that just tea? That's just tea? Boil water and add fresh lavender buds and steep it and strain it. Oh, add a preservative like vodka or witch hazel. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. I just had to, it's just like so, I mean, not to use like the kids' lingo, but like this is very cringy. And I just had to, let's get out of the shame spiral and let's check out what lavender water is real quick. You can use lemon juice also. Do you just spray it on yourself? Is it more of a spray? And funnel it into a spray bottle. Or you can drink it. Drink. Okay. Do I dare go on with this? She's at this, she's at a hot ball in drag, basically. Oh my God. Okay. Lavender water, got it. Go to him, Eleanor, she cried as soon as she could speak, and force him to come to me. Tell him I must see him again, must speak to him instantly. I cannot rest. I shall not have a moment's peace till this is explained. Some dreadful misapprehension or other. Oh, go to him this moment. How can that be done? No, my dearest Marianne, you must wait. This is not a place for explanations. Wait only till tomorrow. I can't wait to get out of this ball. With difficulty, however, she could prevent her from following him herself. She started following him? Wait, with difficulty, however, she prevent her from following him herself, and to persuade her to check her agitation, to wait, at least, with the appearance of composure, till she might speak to him with more privacy and with more effect, was impossible, for Marianne continued incessantly to give way in a low voice to the misery of her feelings, by exclamations of wretchedness. In a short time, Eleanor saw Willoughby quit the room by the door towards the staircase, and telling Marianne that he was gone, urged the impossibility of speaking to him again that evening as a fresh argument for her to be calm. She instantly begged her sister would entreat Lady Middleton to take them home, as she was too miserable to stay a minute longer. Lady Middleton, though in the middle of a rubber, on being informed, I know it sounds very much like a condom, but it is some sort of card game. On being informed that Marianne was unwell, was too polite to object for a moment to wish her to her wish of going away, and make over her cards to a friend. They departed as soon as the carriage could be found. Scarcely a word was spoken during their return to Berkeley Street. Marianne was in a silent agony, too much oppressed for even tears. But as Mrs. Jennings was luckily not to come home, they could go directly to their own room, where Hartshorn, there's a little one next to that, Hartshorn, horn or antler of a hart, H-A-R-T, providing ammonia to be used as smelling salts. Whoa. She needed to revive herself, restored herself a little to herself. She was soon undressed and in bed, and as she seemed desirous of being alone, her sister then left her, and while she waited to the return of Mrs. Jennings, had leisure enough for thinking over the past. This really should be the end of the chapter, but it does go on, and okay, we've got two more paragraphs. We can do this, you guys. That some kind of engagement had subsisted between Willoughby and Marianne she could not doubt, and that Willoughby was weary of it seemed equally clear. For however Marianne might still feed her own wishes, she could not attribute such behaviour to mistake or misapprehension of any kind. Nothing but a thorough change of sentiment could account for it. Her indignation would have been still stronger than it was, and had she not witnessed that embarrassment which seemed to speak a consciousness of its own misconduct, and prevented her from believing him so unprincipled as to have been sporting with the affections of her sister from the first, without any design that would bear investigation. Absence might have weakened his regard, and convenience might have determined him to overcome it, but that such a regard had formerly existed she could not bring herself to doubt. As for Marianne, on the pangs which so unhappy a meeting must already have given her, and on those still more severe which might await her in its probable sequence, she could not reflect without the deepest concern. Her own situation gained in the comparison. For while she could esteem Edward as much as ever, however they might be divided in future, her mind might always be supported. But every circumstance that could embitter such an evil seemed uniting to heighten the misery of Marianne in a final separation from Willoughby, in an immediate and irreconcilable rupture with him. Whew. I'm literally exhausted after all that. It's so intense. I feel like the poor Marianne, that agony of seeing him, and he's just like, what? Truly. Depicted so well, Jane. Depicted so well. All right. We're doing a short video today because that was a lot. Everybody go recover your spirits, have a hot bath, spray yourself with some lavender water, and we'll be back to see the fallout of poor Marianne. And we'll see you next time. Happy reading, everybody. Happy reading, and ta-ta.